Hi there, Stalking the Wild Autoharp fans. I'm Hal Weeks, and I'm excited today because we're going to do our second Stalking the Wild Autoharp interview. And last month's was a real success, and I'm real excited about this new aspect of my series. Today, I've got a real treat for you. Joanne Smith is with us today, and Joanne is a three-time Autoharp champion. She won International Autoharp Championship back in '99 and again in 2013. And in between there, she won the Mount Laurel Autoharp Championship in 2003. She's an awesome choice as an Autoharp teacher. She can teach you on Skype through the wonders of the webcam. And she's got several CDs out, and she'll be telling you about those in our interview. So without further ado, I want to welcome to the screen Joanne Smith.
Hey, hi there.
Hi, Joanne.
Good.
Welcome to Stalking the Wild Autoharp.
Thank you.
So honored you're here.
Mm-hmm. Well, good.
What's up? It looks like you're in your kitchen.
Actually, no. This is like a spare room in our house. It's one of the bedrooms that I've kind of turned into my Autoharp hidey hole.
Autoharp hidey hole.
And my Autoharp hidey hole. If I've got, I don't know if you can see back there, but I've got all my Autoharps all lined up. That's
yeah.
Toy box. And then I've got my Mac here sitting at the other end of the room, and this is where I generally come when when I want to sit down and make some music.
Very nice. Very nice. So, you're doing new projects?
Yes, I'm actually. I started in this past month in January, a couple months ago. I started recording some Autoharp music with a Christmas theme. So basically what I'm trying to do is come out with a Christmas album that I'm hoping to start releasing next fall. So I've got the Autoharp tracks laid down now, and so I've got some piano put in there too. And then come June, I'm going to have somebody come in and do some guitar with the idea of having it ready to go in August. And that way I can get the rest of it, the production done, and have it ready to release by Christmas time or the fall. That's the plan anyway.
Are you experiencing any angst over doing Christmas music when it's not Christmas?
Actually, it wasn't too bad because I did most of all the Autoharp tracks in January, which was right after Christmas, and so
you were in gear.
Yeah, but it was getting a little bit weird, God rest you merry gentlemen, when it's getting close to when it's not Christmas anymore. So
yeah.
But yeah, it is a little bit strange sometimes, but
I've had a number of people tell me over the years, like, well, you should learn some Christmas music and go play at a mall or something.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, yeah, but it's July, and I just
yeah, I get it. It is kind of hard. Some of them too. I think that a lot of times when we think of Christmas music, since everybody knows most of the songs, it's kind of you kind of get the impression that, oh, that's easy stuff. Well, the Christmas music, a lot of it is really complex, and it isn't until you sit down and you realize how they go from major to minor to major to, sometimes out of key and then back in, and that they're very complex.
So do you run into the limitations of the chords? We should explain for those who don't know that you play, correct me if I'm wrong, single key diatonics.
Yes, I do play single key diatonics. I started out on a chromatic. Basically, I've been playing for 25 years or so, and my first 3 to 4 years of playing the Autoharp was strictly chromatic, 21-bar chromatic, and it wasn't until, I guess it was 98. I started playing in 1995, 94 really, and then in 98 I got a first 2-key Autoharp, and I really didn't play it all that much. I still played a lot of chromatic, but then I won the Winfield contest in '99, and the prize that year was a single key diatonic in G. And I don't know, once I got my hands on that, it was just like I wanted to play everything in G because I wanted to play everything on that Autoharp. And that's kind of launched me in that direction. And since that time, I've kind of stayed, into that mode of the single key diatonic. So yes, when I run into some of these songs, a really good example, one of the ones that I recorded was Do You Hear What I Hear?
Mm-hmm.
And I play that in the key of F. But there's one place where you need an A major chord or it just doesn't sound right. And so what I did was I modified one of the lock bars. I found one of the, I needed a C sharp, okay, to get that A major chord. And so I found one of the doubled C's in the auto harp and made a C sharp into it, and then finagled a chord bar so that I could get that A major just in that one spot of the song to make it sound right, because it sounds so great.
So,
the
real briefly, maybe we should explain why the chords are more limited on a diatonic.
Okay, sure. Well, when a diatonic, if you think of a piano keyboard has all the white and the black keys, and a standard auto harp contains every single one of those notes, half steps, all the white keys and all the black keys. Well, let's take example for the key of C. The key of C has no sharps or flats in it. Okay, it's C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. Those are the only notes in the C scale. So what you do with an auto harp, essentially, if you were to take a standard auto harp, you go along the top of the auto harp and you find all the sharp notes and you tune them down a half a step until they're natural. And then what you have is all doubled, a lot, not all doubled, but a lot of those notes, a lot of those strings become doubled strings. And then you go back and you have to refelt your chord bars to open up those doubles. Plus, it limits you to what chords you can have on the auto harp. Because you can only make chords with those 7 notes in the C scale. But, you may only be able to get 3 majors, 3 minors, and a couple of sevenths. But hey, now you've got room for minor sevenths, suspended fourths, let's see, add ninths, major sevenths, all these cool chords that on a standard chromatic auto harp you just don't have room for, because you have to have the majors, minors, and sevenths that you would need to play in all the different keys that you're able to play in on a regular auto harp. So basically, that's the difference.
So those extra chords go bye-bye.
Right.
And then you have a Christmas song where you need them, but you don't have them. And so you have to finagle a way to do it.
Right.
Or not do the song.
Right. And, I get asked a lot that don't you find it limiting that you can't play in all these different keys? And really, honestly, the kind of songs and the repertoire that I tend to gravitate toward is more melodic and more tends to stay in one key. So actually, I've stumbled on a lot of songs that actually fit the diatonic so nicely, because it's even some modern day type of stuff where you can throw in these add 9 chords that or the suspended fourths that the songs actually call for, but you can't do on a chromatic. Plus, I do a lot of open noting too, which is getting notes out of the auto harp without having a chord bar pressed down. So you're playing it kind of like a zither, and that's one of the other advantages. So I don't really feel limited.
Isn't it interesting that like when we take limits upon ourselves,
yeah,
we can actually go further?
Yes. Yeah.
in a certain direction and do it better.
Right. Right. Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
I still do have a chromatic, and in fact, I'm going to be taking it with me tonight. There's a jam session that happens once a month here locally, and it's mostly Western swing and country and that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So I'll take my chromatic to that one, and it's just fun to be able to play along in all those songs with all those sevenths and everything else.
Hmm.
So yeah, I still play my chromatic. It's just that when I want to do solo things, I tend to want to arrange them. You know, I don't write music. I never have been able to do that. I'm really in awe of people who can write new stuff. I never have been able to do that, but what I do is basically take stuff that's already out there and kind of put my own spin on it.
Hmm.
So I'll arrange it and use different chords, some of the chords that you can find on a diatonic, and use those to make an arrangement of a song that's already out there. And
Hmm.
that's how I kind of make it my own, so to speak. So
So you're doing a Christmas album,
yes, yeah.
and would you care to tell us how much you love recording?
I don't. I don't. It's hard. There's a kind of a it's kind of like what they used to call a white coat syndrome when you go to the doctor and he walks into the room with his white coat on, your blood pressure goes through the roof. Well, it's kind of the same way when I sit down in front of a microphone. Okay, where you just all at once the tension goes up. You know that okay, you're paying for this time in the studio, and you're having to you're wanting to get it laid down, and plus it's going to be recorded. It's going to be saved. You want it to be the best possible rendition of it that you can. So it's like, oh, then you get nervous, and the minute I start overthinking it, then I tense up and it goes out the window. So some sessions are better than others. Um, I
So are
had
there things that you do in a session that like to make it more comfortable, and like candles or um, pictures of your kids, or maybe that stresses you out more?
actually no. It what I would love to do if it was possible is bring my dog and have him lay in the studio. The only problem is he's a French bulldog and he snores, so that ain't gonna work. But yeah, what I tend to do is I find something to focus on visually, whether it's just a single spot on like the microphone that's in front of me, or maybe it's something just beyond, you know, something in the room, and I just kind of focus on that and try not to let my hand motions distract me. If I try to pay too much attention to what my hands are doing, then I kind of lose it. So I just kind of zone out and focus in on uh, something visually, and then just let the music play in my head. But it's hard. I mean, it is. It's hard because you want it to be perfect, but it never is. And you can only fix so much. And so you get to the point that, oh, okay, we fixed everything we can, and the only way to make it any better, I mean, you can't fix everything. And the only way to make it any better is to just throw it all away and start over and record it perfectly in one take. Well, I
Yeah, there
couldn't
you
do
go.
that. Yeah, see, but I couldn't do that the last 10 times I tried. So what, am I going to do it this time? Probably not. So, ugh, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't. It's not the most pleasant experience, I should say, but yet at the same time, there's a sense of accomplishment once it's all done, and you feel like um, I don't know, you've laid something down that is a snapshot in time, and I have to keep reminding myself of that as well. It is a snapshot in time. That's not to say my playing's not going to continue to evolve, because it will. And how I play next year is not going to be the way I'm playing this year. And so It is. It's just kind of a snapshot, and I have to keep telling myself that it's not a perfect snapshot. A little overexposed in some spots, and maybe the shadows are too dark or whatever, but
Hmm.
it's a snapshot in time.
So, well, you teach as I teach. You teach. Do you teach locally too, or is it all through Skype?
It's pretty much all through Skype or FaceTime, however they want to do it. And it's rather than doing serial lessons, which maybe it comes from the fact that I took piano lessons as a kid and hated every minute of it. um, I don't generally do serial lessons unless that's what the student really wants. Most of the stuff that I do is if somebody has just gotten an auto harp and wants to get started, or maybe they're thinking about going to diatonic. How do I get started doing that? Or can you help me get over this hump that I'm at? I'm struggling here. And folks can go to my website at autoharpist.com, and there's a little place where you can sign up for a lesson. And sometimes that's all it takes is just one session, and we get the problem solved, and then they go on until they feel like they need another one, and then they'll come back and sign up for another one, rather than making it, okay, we're going to do it every Wednesday at 3 o'clock or something like that. I find most people some people actually do want that, at least for the first few sessions. And then after that, then they'll say, okay, I've got plenty to work with now for a while. I'll see you later. I'll call you when I need more. And so that's kind of how we do. But locally, there's not that many people around here that play auto harps. So I very rarely see anybody else that plays. So,
Well, and I'm in Denver, and so you would think that there would be tons of people around.
yeah.
And no, it's gotten to the place where I'm not even set up for students. I wouldn't know if somebody called me and said, I'm local, I want local lessons. I'd be like,
Okay.
I don't really have a place for that, But what have you found are the advantages of Skype for yourself and for your students?
One of the advantages is just to be able to, not having to travel, not having to, you can walk right up to your PC or your phone or whatever, and click a button and not have to pack up your instruments, or if it's cold out or the roads are bad or whatever, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just come right over here. You can meet and greet somebody, and within a few minutes kind of see what you need to do, where you need to go with that, and I can give them things to work on, and that without having to travel to come see me either. I think it's great.
Yeah.
The only drawback, and you probably feel this way too, the connection, at least as it exists today, the technology isn't quite there to where you can actually play at the same time with each other. There's the delay, and like when I'm talking, we can't even talk at the same time. It doesn't seem to want to work as well. So it's more of a conversational. They talk or they play, then I talk or I play, and then it's kind of a back and forth, which actually isn't too bad.
Folks need to really give it a chance, because it's great, and it works out great for them, as students, and for the teachers. And I find that I can offer lessons for a little bit less than if I had to rent a studio or drive across town or have people in here. And it's been a great thing.
I think it's great, and I think that the technology is only going to improve as time goes forward. I think it's only going to get better, and I think we're going to start seeing more and more of this. And I think it's great because the auto harp, for heaven's sakes, it is a niche instrument, for heaven's sakes, and so we don't see that. I mean, we're spread out all over the place. So it's hard to find other Autoharp players um, just within driving distance a lot of times. I'm smack in the middle of Oklahoma, so well, not in the middle of Oklahoma, northeast Oklahoma. So it's hard for me to get to the East Coast, like to Mount Laurel, or out to the West Coast to the West Coast Autoharp gatherings. And I guess it's kind of a good place to be if you're wanting to get both places, because I'm
Well,
right.
you're near Winfield.
Yes, and we go every year, so that's our big.
How long have you been going?
Well, I started playing the Autoharp in 1994, and September of 95 is the first year I went to Winfield, and that just happened to be the year that Brian Bowers was there, and he gave a 3-day pre-festival workshop. And I went and I took that, and my eyes were open.
Mm-hmm.
And during the process, I met, gosh, a lot of the Autoharp players that I'm still connected with today. There were a bunch of us that took that class, and that's, and ever since, we've never missed a Winfield since. It's kind of a family type of thing. We go up there and we camp. We go up early and we stay there for the whole festival, and we enjoy the music and that type of thing. So all of our kids came when they were little, and now they come with their kids, and it's pretty cool.
I'm curious. Can you tell us? Are you ready to reveal or talk about the thing that you're doing with Whippoorwill?
Oh yeah, back it's been a couple of years ago. I keep getting, and I'm sure you probably get this kind of inquiry as well, where people will contact you and say, "I want to get an Autoharp, but which one do I get?" Well, there's not a whole lot of choice out there. You can get a good Oscar Schmidt or maybe a Chromaharp brand that's been modified or gone over, or optimized by someone who knows Autoharps and can get it set up and playable for about $500-600, maybe $750. If you get all the work done on it like you need to. But it's either that or a couple of thousand,
Mm-hmm.
or a luthier Autoharp, and there just really wasn't any middle ground. So anyway, I contacted Ken Ellis at Whippoorwill Acoustics back a couple of years ago, and we got to emailing, and I said, what would, is there a way to come up with kind of a middle ground, something that was better than like a manufactured, that would play like a luthier instrument but wouldn't cost so much? Can we cut out some of the frills? Can we cut out some of the other things? It would have to have fine tuners, and it would have to sound decent, but it wouldn't have to be as grand as some of these really nice ones, because I didn't want it to compete with his Autoharps either. So anyway, what we came up with after exchanging emails was a little Autoharp that we call the Heartland model, and I've got one right here. And back last September, it's when we decided to go forth with it. And basically, what it is they're all made the same, so you don't get a choice of woods. They're all cherry and spruce. They all have 15 chord bars, so you can't have 21 bars. You can only have 15.
Mm-hmm.
Got the fine tuners. And basically, we can set it up as a 15-bar chromatic. We can set it up any way you want. You can get lock bars if you want a 2-key, like a G, D, or if you want a single key, G or D, or any key you want. We can do a 3-key chromatic. Actually, a 4-key chromatic, which is what I've got here. It'll play in F, C, G, D, and I can fudge in A. So this is the one that I take with me when I go. This is going with me to the jam session tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I really like them. It's got a nice bright sound, which I like. and cherry is my favorite tone wood. So you're limited in your selection of what you can options you can put on it. But because of that, he can keep the cost down. Now, he doesn't do all the fancy woodwork, all the fancy purfling and trim and exotic woods like he uses on his other ones. But it has kind of a cool sound hole design that we kind of worked on together. And he uses Osage orange for the chord bar buttons, which is kind of a nod to the Heartland where I live. Osage orange is around here they call it bow wood.
Mm-hmm.
It's what the Native Americans used to make bows because it's very, very strong, yet it's flexible, and it's very thorny, messy shrubbery. A lot of farmers and ranchers use it for hedgerows because cows won't go through it because it's so thorny. It's terrible to get rid of once you got it. It's not a really easy tree to maintain,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes an interesting wood. So that's kind of the story behind that. So, and if anybody is interested in those, I do have a link to it on my website at autoharpist.com.
Okay.
It's a little page
Okay.
called Heartland Autoharp, and they can go there and get more information if they're interested.
And I'll put the link in the notes to this video right below, folks. Go down there. You can click on the links, and there will be links to Joanne's site. And where can people get your CDs?
They can get those off of CD Baby. So just go to CD Baby and Joanne Smith, and it'll take you right to it. I've got 2 albums, one that I did back in 2000 and I believe it was 2004 or 5 that's called Rhythm of the Rain, and then one that I did in 2011 called Lyrical.
Mm-hmm.
And so those 2 are on CD Baby, and
Okay.
you can get them digital download or the actual physical CD, either or, your choice.
Okay.
So.
I will put links to your YouTube page
Okay.
below, and so we've got that, and you've got links to Ken Ellis.
Yes.
The harps.
Yep.
Will you play that harp for us, and will you play whatever other harp you
Okay.
want to play for us, and give us a tune or two?
Sure. Let's see. Oh, by the way, another thing that I stumbled on recently are these. They're called Kling Pro finger picks, and I used nothing but Dunlop .025 nickel picks for years and years and years. But when I stumbled onto these things here just a few months ago, it's like, man, I love them. So I have a link.
More and more people are raving about them, so I'll put a link there too for that.
Really, really good. This is a little chromatic, semi-chromatic Heartland. And there's this little song called Little Red Wagon. It's kind of a Western swing type of thing. So it goes something like this. Won't you ride in my little red wagon? I'd love to pull you down the street, and I bet all the kids would be jealous when they see my playmate so sweet. Hold tight till we come to the hilltop, and we'll coast down the hill, you and me. Won't you ride in my little red wagon? For you are my sweetheart to be. So that's Little Red Wagon on the Chromatic.
That's cute.
Yeah.
It sounds really good.
Yeah, it does. It's got a pretty bright sound, and it's the strings are still kind of new, so it's got a little bit more volume than I think it probably will later on. But one of the things that I do when I'm wanting to, excuse me, just a second, get this bad boy plugged in here. One of the things that I want to do, or what I do a lot of times, is I listen to Spotify a lot. And when I hear a song that I really like and I think would sound good on the auto harp, I put that song on a playlist that I call Tunes to Learn. And a while back, I ran across this waltz called Loretta's Waltz by Brian Sutton. And it just really, I'm a sucker for waltzes anyway. And this one was really, really pretty. And so it happened to be in the key of E, which this auto harp is one of John Hollinsworth's auto harps, and I have it in single key E.
Can we see the back?
Yes. Okay. It's cherry.
Ooh, pretty.
And then it's got Engelmann spruce on the top, which most of my other ones I think have Sitka.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I don't know whether that kind of gives it a little more definition to the sound, but this particular auto harp tends to have an ability to isolate the notes, melody notes, a little bit better than some of the other ones. Here's Loretta's Waltz by Brian Sutton. Thank you. Yeah, that's
Thank you.
pretty
Thank
song.
you. That's lovely.
Pretty, pretty, pretty. Yeah,
Lovely.
that's kind of the stuff that I generally like to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my I guess repertoire kind of leans that direction.
I'm
So,
always identifying in people's styles things that I don't do, and like you do that thing where you pass the melody between three fingers. Do you use your pinky when you play?
no.
Okay, so you pass your melody note between these three fingers,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. I tend to do two fingers or with my thumb,
Mm-hmm.
and I always look at that and go, okay, there's something else that I really need um, to learn.
Yeah, explore. What? And for me, I put a pick on this finger and left it there for several weeks one time, and it never came to life. So I figured it wasn't going to. It
Mm-hmm.
kind of has it. It doesn't have a mind of its own. It tends to work with my ring finger,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't really do much separate with it.
Well, Joanne Smith, One last question.
Sure.
What has Autoharp taught you about yourself?
Oh, um, hmm. Wow. That's an interesting question. I think what it's taught me more than anything is probably patience, maybe. Um, I know that I tend to be the type that once I kind of latch on to something, I tend to go into it whole hog and go down the rabbit hole and stay there and just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. Um, but one of the things that it helped me do, I think, more than anything else, was express myself um, with music, because there's just a lot of music for me is kind of a language of emotion. Um, and I just got lucky enough that I found the instrument that tends to be the best vehicle for me to get out the music that I hear in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been an ear player. I mean, I can read music and I can learn pieces from sheet music, but until I have it up here, I really can't play it that well. And I was the same way with the piano, which is why my teachers had such a hard time with me, probably,
Mm-hmm.
because I never wanted to play from the music. I wanted to memorize it and then play it. But you can't be in a big hurry if you're wanting to learn. But I could always hear that, oh, I know there's a way to do that, to make it sound this way on the Autoharp. I know there's a way to do that. Um, and so that kept me going, and knowing that I couldn't maybe get it yet until I'd figure out a way to, oh, okay, now see, I knew I could then practice it and practice it and practice it until I'm able to actually do it. So I think that's basically it. It's been, I don't know what my life would be like without an auto harp.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got uh, my husband and my kids. I've got a wonderful family, and I've been very, very blessed. I've been a working stiff my whole life. I've only been retired now for about, well, since last summer.
Mm-hmm.
Finally getting the time to spend to doing the music that I've always wanted to do, but um, my life's been full and pretty average.
Well, we love to hear you. So thank you for joining us
Oh, you bet.
and
Thanks for
for
having me.
coming on Stalking the Wild Autoharp. And I look forward to seeing you soon I don't know if I'm coming to Winfield or not, but I hope to see you soon.
You need to come. You need to come and take first place in the contest this coming year. You know,
Well,
yes,
I already
second.
got what I wanted. I got the harp.
I know, but you can get another one. You need another. You need another harp.
Yeah,
So,
I know. And maybe I'll be coming to you for lessons about using this finger.
oh well, okay. I'll be glad
For
to
the
help you
road.
if I can. So, yep. I don't know. I mean, it just kind of does its own thing. Anyway, but yeah, I'd be happy to help you if I can. So, well, thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being on.
Oh, you bet.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
See you soon.
Well, there you have it, fans. Joanne Smith, and I was so honored to have her on today. She's wonderful to talk to. If you like this series, folks, please remember to subscribe and to share and comment anything you want down below. That really helps me get the word out about Stalking the Wild Autoharp. There are links below for all things Joanne Smith, her CDs, her website, her teaching. Also, the Heartland Autoharp, which is available through Ken Ellis of Whippoorwill Acoustics. And I urge you to go over and subscribe to her channel if you haven't already. Great videos on YouTube as well. So subscribe, like. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Stalking the Wild Autoharp. Bye-bye.